What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Nathan, and today we're going to talk about another Pacific Trucking Company vehicle. This is the Pacific P12. You're going to see a lot of comparisons between the P16 and the P12 in this video, so let's get to it. You know the deal. Roll the tape. So throughout my journey, I've come to find that some of the better vehicles in SnowRunner are free because you discover them, but a lot of them you just gotta fork over the cash. The P16's brother, the P12, is one of those vehicles you just have to save up for. The Pacific Trucking Company's vehicles are well represented in the game of SnowRunner, and for good reason. These prime movers are rugged, heavy, and they're designed to haul heavy loads. The P12 rivals both the P16 and the P512. In this review, we're going to shine some light on what good old cash can buy in SnowRunner, so enter the Pacific P12. Like usual, we're going to take a short look at the base stats of this vehicle before jumping into the pros and cons. The P12 falls into the heavy category, weighing 22 tons, a power to weight of B, a durability of A-, fuel consumption B-, fuel capacity 350 liters or 93 gallons, its all-wheel drive is switchable, and its diff lock is always on. And lastly, its tires come stock with an all-terrain loadout of 57 inches. Alright, let's dig into the pros and cons of the Pacific P12. I like the bad news first, so let's dive into the cons. So, starting out with number 1, large front overhang. This vehicle has a high damage tolerance, but be prepared to take some engine damage from a large front overhang. In later maps, the terrain drop-offs and small pitfalls seem to show up more often. The P12, although having good ground clearance, has a huge nose, which does collide with terrain causing potential damage. The vehicle's soft, springy front suspension also is somewhat to blame. The vehicle still usually plows through terrain, but just be aware that cautious driving will save your engine from damage. Downside number 2, lack of snorkel. Unlike its brother, the P16, the P12 does not have an option for a snorkel. No matter what truck you are, if you don't have a snorkel in SnowRunner, it's a downside. This limits the P12 to shallow crossings and not deep river ventures in areas like the flooded foothills. So even though this is a downside, the vehicle does sit high enough to get away with some crossings without taking engine hits. Coming in at the number 3 downside, long wheelbase. As mentioned before about the terrain getting harder, this also affects the P12. Going over steep, rapid surfaces or rocks will sometimes cause you to high center due to its long wheelbase. I must say, it is uncommon due to its ground clearance and large tires, but regardless, it can be a downside. Better approaches to different obstacles can mitigate this downside as well. Downside number 4, no low saddle. A downside that both the P12 and the P16 have is the inability to attach a low saddle. Having a low saddle opens up so many more trailer options for hauling cargo and vehicles. Because neither can use the low saddle, they cannot use trailers like the 5 and the 8 slot semi-trailer, except the super wide flatbeds, which are the high saddles. And this is why I believe that both the low and high saddle options would further open up more opportunities for use. And finally, at the number 5 downside, it requires upgrades. The P12 stock is really, in my opinion, an underperformer. Its all-terrain stock tires aren't rated as good as other vehicles, but that's remedied with upgrading tires with driver level. In addition to subpar stock tires, boasting a B rating for power to weight just doesn't suit heavy hauls, especially up hills. I'm not saying the engine isn't somewhat strong, it has to be to push around a 22-ton vehicle, but to be effective at hauling and rescuing, it needs the final engine upgrade. Even with the final engine upgrade, the terrain will reject high gear, forcing drivers to auto or low gear. Throughout this video, you'll see that the P12 has a hard time staying in high gear. The engine just feels like it doesn't have enough power, or that it's quick to lose power in heavy areas. While this poses issues for people who just want pure speed, the P12 is solid in low gear. Okay, moving on to the pros. Here are the upsides for the Pacific P12. Number 1, stability. A huge highlight of the P12 is stability, like the P16. This vehicle with its long wheelbase and its large height is still somewhat stable. This is attributed to its wide stance and large tires, giving it resistance against rough surfaces. Also noted that the suspension travel seems somewhat softer in the front, which helps to not jar the vehicle around when hitting uneven obstacles. Now, I did mention that the soft, springy suspension can sometimes allow damage to the engine. Well, sometimes downsides or upsides in different aspects of off-roading. The next upside features a really cool addition to stability as well as grip. Coming in at number 2 upside, tires. First off, coming stock with a 57-inch all-terrain tire is huge. All-terrain tires are locked at level 6, so if you manage to buy the P12 before then, you're ahead of the game. 57 inches is a massive tire loadout, and the news for the upside just gets better. The P12 can equip mud tires with a driver level of 13. Those same mud tires can be chained at level 14, or you could use the dually off-road chain tires. The upside to using the dually chain tire over the mud chain tire is that the dually chain tires further widen the P12 stance, providing even more stability. Upside number 3, more add-ons than the P16. Having more add-on options makes a vehicle more versatile and appealing for use. The P12 can use the long log attachment and the logging crane, which the P16 cannot. In addition, this truck can use things like the large crane, the fuel tank, or the large maintenance frame, making it a capable rescue vehicle. Coming in at the number 4 upside, all-wheel drive, differential locking, and fuel. So number 4 is kind of a combination due to this truck having many upsides that I just really wanted to cover them all. The P12 has a massive 350 liter 93 gallon fuel tank and relatively good economy, making it great for long heavy hauls. Also, its differential locking is always on, and it has switchable all-wheel drive. Having switchable all-wheel drive helps save fuel on paved roads or light terrain. The great upside to having diff lock always on is that regardless of what gear you're in, your differential locking is always working. No surprises here with upside number 5, weight. In the game of SnowRunner, weight is an amazing thing, and the P12 has a lot going for it. Although it is lighter than its brother, the P16, it still benefits greatly from being one of the heavier vehicles in the game. Being a heavy vehicle and having a powerful winch makes the P12 very capable for vehicle rescues. And finally, the number 6 upside is a great crane platform. Hands down, in my opinion, this is the best truck platform for a crane. Personally, I used off-road or the off-road chain tires for added stability. The vehicle's frame sits so high that the crane anchors on the side tend to not collide with terrain when you're traversing to your task. A lot of other vehicles I've used the crane with seem to get their anchors caught up on obstacles. This makes the P12 far better than them all. In my opinion, the P12 is a powerhouse in the crane department. So in conclusion, the Pacific P12 is a capable vehicle that escaped me in my first playthrough. I found it too expensive and other trucks just caught my eye. This truck rivals its brother, the P16. There are just more options for the P12 than the P16. However, I do feel that the P16's mud performance and its pulling power is far better than the P12's. The upsides on this truck just outweigh the downsides in my opinion. The downsides are easily mitigated by good choices, and the upsides just make the game so much more enjoyable. Some vehicles tend to quickly lose their value in later maps, but these Pacific Company trucks seem as if they are made to endure SnowRunner's relentless additions. So, if you have patience and don't mind going slow, this is your truck. Try it out and let me know what you think. I hope this review gave you a fresh new perspective on the Pacific P12. Please smash the like button, leave a comment on what truck you want to see next. Definitely share this video with someone who is struggling with the game, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content. Hope you all have a wonderful day, God bless, and stay upright.